Why you do this, Koed?
Why you came here, Koed?
Why you do this, Koed?
You tell me why you came here, Koed.
Why you do this?
Why did you come here, Koed?
Why you do this?
Huh?
Why did you do this, Koed?
Why you came here, Koed?
Why you do this?
That was the end of an altercation and the beginning of a legal battle between former parliamentarian Koed Smith and Queen's Counsel Koed Smith, who is also counsel for the Coalition to Protect Clifton. According to Mr. Smith, it all started when he arrived at Jaws Beach yesterday to see what work was being done in the area. He says when he arrived, he met a group of men with the Renegotiate t-shirts on and got into a conversation with them. He says all was going fine as he took some pictures and video of what was going on. That is, he says, until Koed arrived. It was then that Mr. Smith said things got out of hand.
He became more and more heated and actually started pushing up into my face and pushing on my chest and trying to pick a fight with me. And generally just getting up into my face. His blood kept rising and he was getting worked up about the different issues. I wouldn't take his bait, probably, fortunately. But as he worked himself up, he was working the other guys up. All these guys who were perfectly friendly with me before now had hammers, crowbars, steel pipe, big sticks. In fact, Koed himself at one stage got very angry, picked up a big casuarina stick, and came up to try and hit me with it.
So you said you were afraid?
I was terrified, afraid of my life. I mean, I was stuck out there by myself. With, I wasn't afraid of the guys at all until Koed started actually inciting them to riot, because that's exactly what Koed did. He was inciting these people to harm me.
It was then that the attorney said that he, after realizing that he had been cornered, jumped into his vehicle and tried to drive off. But he says the man still cornered him and heard attorney Koed yell, "This is my beach and you're going to leave when I say you could leave." At this point, Mr. Smith says he got out of his car and tried to speak to Koed. Then Mr. Smith said he hopped back in his car and in another attempt to get away, drove onto the beach. In his attempt to escape, he says one of the men smashed his car's back window. After he thought he had gotten to safety, he stopped to take pictures of the damage, and that's when he says Mr. Smith came up to the back of the car, reached through the broken glass, removed evidence, and walked off.
He was coming to retrieve the instrument that was used to break my window. Now that's abetment after the fact. He was destroying evidence at the scene of a crime, and he knows better as a lawyer not to do that, because that would have had the fingerprints of whoever did it.
Mr. Smith says that he has already filed a formal complaint to the police and is seeking legal action against Mr. Smith. He says in addition to a criminal prosecution, he intends to bring a civil suit against Mr. Smith as well as report him to the Bahamas Bar Association. Now, Mr. Smith says the car was a rental and estimates the damage he will have to pay to be around $1,000. Our news team caught up with Koed, who then transferred the call to a man who wished to be called only Mr. Williams. He says Fred refuses to tell the other side of the story, which is that he ran over one of the men working, which ultimately broke his leg. Koed has since filed a report at the Lyford Key Police Station. Kyle Joaquin, JCN News.